Let's get into it. It is with great sorrow that I say this, but Joe Biden's uncle was eaten by cannibals. That's what he said. That's what he said. This is actually a funny one. You know, a lot of people, well, Jesse Waters is bringing up the fact that things like this are the reason you will never see a Trump and Biden debate. You're never going to see it because this guy's going around saying stuff like this. I'm going to show you a clip of him saying it. Then I'm going to show you Papua New Guinea's response to what he had to say. Then I'm going to show you what Jesse Waters calls plagiarization of an actual speech is what Biden's doing, which he's done before. So I can't say that I doubt him. And then I'm going to show you Peter Doocy asking Karine, mean Karine Jean, about what Biden said. And her response is fantastic. Oh, so good. Oh, gosh. Let's get into it.
God, just remember who we are. And I can't, well, when I left Scranton today, I wanted to go to the war memorial that has the names of all the Scrantonians who died in World War II etched into a granite wall, because I wanted to see where my Uncle Bosie Ambrose J. Finnegan, where his name was etched, back when D-Day occurred. And on Sunday, the next day, my mother's four brothers all went down to the recruiting station and joined the military. Every one of them volunteered. And my uncle, they called him Ambrose, Bosie, they called him Bosie. My Uncle Bosie was a hell of an athlete, they tell me, when he was a kid. And he became an Army Air Corps before the Air Force came along. He flew those single-engine planes as reconnaissance over war zones. He got shot down in New Guinea, and they never found the body because there were a lot of cannibals for real in that part of New Guinea. And then my son volunteered to go to Iraq for a year, and he came back with stage 4 glioblastoma.
There's a lot of cannibals in that place for real. Just imagine this guy going toe-to-toe with Trump in a debate. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. And I think Jesse Waters is right. This is the reason, because he's saying things like this. First of all, Uncle didn't get shot down. How about that? I think ran out of gas and then just went down. And then he says he got eaten by cannibals. Well, the president of Papua New Guinea was mad because he's like, my faculties still work. And I heard what you said. And that's not true. Said President Biden's remarks may have been a slip of the tongue. However, my country does not deserve to be labeled as such. He's like, why are you saying that we're cannibals? Oh, well, Uncle Doocy, he used to be a hell of an athlete. He used to play stickball, and he met Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant were all playing stickball together. My Uncle Doocy beat every single one of them. You're you're a stone cold liar if you don't believe me. I would love to see him just get wild like that. Wouldn't that be the greatest thing? Right? Everybody's so upset about Biden. But if he just started going, hey, what's going on? I met Kanye West yesterday and he's a lizard person. Hey, what's going on? Mean Jean Karine is my daughter. Oh, I don't tell nobody about it. Who? Huh? I'd be like, oh, this is the greatest president in the world. Oh, this guy's fantastic. Get him a podcast. I don't like Ben Shapiro. Can't tell you why. Wink, wink. Hey, huh? Can you imagine? Oh my God. He just starts saying all the things old people say. I would love it. The president also said our daily life, our people live daily with the fear of being killed by detonated bombs from World War II. And then he suggests that America, or the White House, President Biden, instead of making up these stories, how about you come and clean up all the wreckage and bombs that are hidden in our land still, and then you could put away all these theories, because he even said his uncle's plane is more than likely in the vicinity somewhere, that he could actually find it and put all these stories, all these conspiracies to bed about cannibals. Very, very interesting. Now, the funny thing is, Jesse Waters is like, this guy plagiarized what he said. And I don't know if you guys know, but the president has been known to sometimes use a word here or there, sometimes a sentence, sometimes, allegedly, all the time, a little bit, for decades. So he says it's actually plagiarized from this story.
It's still a mystery to this day. His last whereabouts? Swimming towards the coast of Papua New Guinea after waves toppled his vessel.
Mike Rockefeller was aboard a double-hulled canoe with a Dutch anthropologist called Rene Wassing. They were trying to go up the Ilandan River. Rockefeller very badly wanted to try to swim ashore. After all, the two men from Argots had made it, and he wanted to have a go. I saw him swimming away. The shore appeared to be 3 miles away, but he couldn't be quite sure. That was the last he saw of Michael Rockefeller.
The theory for some time has been that Rockefeller was eaten, not by sharks, by cannibals. To this day, historians believe this photo of a white man running with a cannibal tribe may have been Michael Rockefeller. Last year, Primetime spoke to a Rockefeller investigator who paid a visit to the tribe of cannibals.
According to Asmat cosmology and culture, carried a sacred obligation to reciprocate, to kill somebody from the tribes that had killed their people. And Michael Rockefeller, unfortunately, swam up to a group of men from Ochnep on the morning of November 21st, 1961, and he was dispatched.
It's a mysterious story, and Joe Biden has always been a storyteller. Usually he's stealing stories from the Kennedys, Hubert Humphrey, British diplomats, but he's never plagiarized a Rockefeller. That is until now. This week, Biden told us cannibals ate his uncle in New Guinea.
My uncle,
his name was Hulk Hogan. He had a rivalry with another nation. It was the Ultimate Warriors, and they came from the top rope and they jumped, and my uncle was there. But then his friend came, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, and he stopped him. And he gave him the people's elbow. Boom. That's how I became president. I wish the stories were just outlandish like that. I'd be like, yay, Grandpa's back. He's crazy. Oh my gosh. Wouldn't that be great? It would be terrifying. Things are already terrifying enough. I know. I'm kidding, of course. Now, Mean Gene Kareen is about to just lay it all down. Whose fault do you think this is? He says this story. It turns out to not be true. There was no cannibals. His uncle didn't get shot down. He said these things. Everybody wants to know why he's saying this type of stuff. Whose fault do you think it is? Who do you think is responsible? Well, let me tell you something. If you said Trump, you're goddamn right.
Acceptable.
I do have to ask you about a different topic.
Oh.
Why is President Biden saying that his Uncle Bozy was eaten by cannibals?
So, I answered this question yesterday. I believe I've seen some clips on your network about me answering this question. I don't have much to say beyond what I said to some of your colleagues. Look, I was there. I think you traveled with us too to Pennsylvania. I'm not sure if you were there at the memorial in Scranton. The president had a emotional and I think a symbolic moment. He had an opportunity as president to honor his uncle's service in uniform. He had an opportunity to be there as president to speak to the bravery of his uncle, and not just his uncle, but many U.S. service members that put their lives on the line on behalf of this country. So his uncle, who lost his life when the military aircraft he was on crashed in the Pacific after taking off near New Guinea, the president highlighted his uncle's story as he made the case for honoring our sacred commitment to equip those we send to war and take care of them and their families when they come home. And as he iterated, the last thing American veterans are, or the last thing Americans should be called are suckers and losers, and that is, those types of words should not come from a commander in chief, as we have in the past, and we should actually be lifting up our American veterans and honoring them, and that's what you saw from this president.
And I agree. Second Lieutenant Ambrose J. Finnegan was a war hero, but the Pentagon says, for unknown reasons, the plane was forced to ditch in the ocean. Both engines failed at low altitude. Why is President Biden saying he was shot down? There's no evidence of that. And why is he saying that his uncle was eaten by cannibals? That is a bad way to go.
He lost his life. It's not. Look, I'm not. We should not make jokes about
It's
this.
not.
Wait.
President Biden said that his uncle was eaten by
I mean,
cannibals.
your last line it's for a laugh. It's for a funny statement, and he takes this very seriously. His uncle, who served and protected this country, lost his life serving, and that should matter. You have a president that lifts up our U.S. troops, our American veterans, every day, who thinks about them, who actually thinks they're all heroes, and they are. And you have a former president who disrespects that, who doesn't honor that. Said it as president, suckers or losers. That's what he said.
Where did the cannibalism come from?
I think you're missing the point. The point is you have a president that lifts up American veterans, who lifts up our U.S. service members. And that's what matters. He understands how critical and how important it is to be commander-in-chief. I'm going to move on. Go ahead.
I'm going to move on. Go ahead. That's amazing. Could you imagine working in a job for almost 4 years and never answering one question? Could you imagine that? It must be blissful. I don't know what that's like. I have to answer questions every day. I got a wife. I have to answer all sorts of questions. Where's this? What's that? Can you take the baby? Yeah, all this stuff. If I just got to not answer the question, honey, can you take the baby? Listen, what you have to understand is, okay, when I'm over there, I'm over there. But we can't bicker about what happens over here. And you just have to understand, you know, with my former girlfriend, things were a lot. I can't do that. I can't do that. It's incredible. And then, of course, it all got brought back to Trump. You know, Trump said this. I understand that. But the president said that his uncle was eaten by cannibals. And that after 24 hours of being bit, he turned into a zombie himself. And he swam back to America. And that's where the virus. We won't go there. We won't go there. It's very interesting, man. The fact that she brought it right to Trump. And I couldn't find anything about Trump calling anybody suckers and losers. But of course, I'm sure it's a part of a longer speech where he says a bunch of other things and he mentions the word suckers and losers, and they just connected it all the same way they did with, the whole there was good people on both sides when they tried to make him seem like he was endorsing, like these Nazi, I don't know who they were. I just, for lack of a better term, like Nazi white nationalist types. And they were trying to say that he was actually condoning their behavior. But then when you heard the actual clip, he said those people should be condemned. But you have to understand, within that group, there were bad people, good people, and there were good people on both sides. And then they just ran with it. And most people probably don't even know that. But you can find it. It's a longer clip. It's actually a really nice speech where he says, condemn people who had that type of, intention being there. He's like, but there's good people within that. And there was good people there. It was very interesting. But why is Biden talking about cannibals, man? What's going on? What's going on? And again, Jesse Waters did a piece on this whole thing, and he said this is why you'll never see a debate with Trump and Biden. And I think he's 100% right. There will never be that type of debate ever, because Biden will say stuff like that. He will just say wild things that just are not true, and Trump, of course, will point it out right away, and the media will go crazy with all the things he says and trailing off and this and that. So we'll never see that debate. It's very interesting the way everything's playing out this election cycle. I don't know that we've ever seen anything like this, where there's one guy who can't debate, and then another guy's like, why am I debating if this guy's not debating? You know? And then they're pretty much hiding one of the candidates. You know, I think it was in Florida, not 100% sure. They just canceled, I think it was the Democratic primary while they were looking for the candidate. They just canceled it and just announced that Biden won. But he actually didn't. It was canceled. They just said, we're done. We're done. He won. You know that? And Trump had to fight through Nikki Haley day in, day out. It wasn't much of a fight, but still, he had to go through the motions. This other guy's not even going through the motions. Trump's doing that and handling court cases. Don't you want someone like that as president, who can be handling one thing and handling a very stressful other thing that's putting him in direct danger? Don't you want and running a company at the same time and making investments that are worth billions of dollars? Don't you want someone like that in office? Listen, I talk about it all the time. I got a bias. I like Trump. I get it. But isn't that good? That's solid stuff, man. The guy has taken his net worth. He's increased it by $3 billion. Who does that? He didn't even have to do any insider trading like the rest of them do. It's pretty incredible. I don't know. I'm just saying. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think about Biden's uncle being, and you know, credit to the man. The man served. That's great. But it just sucks that his nephew ends up living to 4,000 years old and then makes a story up about him. You know, you don't got to make up a story. Once somebody serves, you can just say it how it is. It's respectful. It's perfect the way it is. If they stepped up, they got in a plane, I don't have to put any sugarcoating on it. I don't have to liven it up or anything. My dad was a paratrooper, which means he was jumping out of planes. All right, that's it. I don't have to say anything else. That's it. It's just good the way it is. I don't know. Anyways, guys, Coach Colin News. Subscribe. Hit that notification bell as well, because sometimes they won't show stuff. Sometimes they won't show the videos like they should, I gotta say. And I don't know who that is, but it happens. But it's surely by mistake. Surely. Anyway, I'm out.